We are moving on to card 3. I'm Jill Blanchette with Green Thumb Stampers. We're working with the Pick of the Crop Paper Pumpkin Kit from June of 2022. This is the card we're going to make using pieces and parts from the kit. And I'm going to set that there and show you the pieces that you're going to need. You'll use the square from the center of the card. We will cut that out with a rectangle die. You'll use one of these vellum pieces that we will also cut out with a rectangle die. We're using parts of the envelope, and we're going to use a 5/8 inch strip for across the front. You will cut a 3/4 inch strip of this leftovers from the card for across the front. You will have these two pieces from the kit. We're going to use the last little bit left over from the first card that we made with the flower cart, and then you'll use the strawberry. Inside you'll use another piece of the envelope, a piece of the bread, and we will make a tiny piece of cheese from the big piece of cheese that's in the kit. So let's get started. Alright, the kit says that it coordinates with Calypso Coral, so that's why I have this for my base, Calypso Coral, but you can use whatever color you like with it. I did pull out Petal Pink. That was a little too off. I didn't try Blushing Bride. That might go alright, but I think that the colors in the strawberry go okay with the Calypso Coral. So that's what I used. Mine is 4 1/4 by 11. And I'm going to fold it in half. And you can also score it and then fold it. And I keep calling this scoring, but you're going to crease on your fold, not score it right there. So we've got that. The next layer is going to be a basic white that is 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and because I have this color still, I used a Blueberry Bushel ink. Understand that you probably don't have this color, but if you do, feel free to use this color for the background and the stamping. Otherwise, go ahead and use the Night of Navy coordinates with this. So go ahead and I squished it. You squish the lid down into the base or the base into the lid, whichever's a little easier for you, and get some ink into the lid. I got one of my water painters, and I'm going to squeeze it and get some water flowing in it. There we go. Just going to muddy that up. You could do this on a block if you wanted to. I will take a paper towel or something when I'm done and wipe this out. But then I'm just going to like paint across the paper just a little bit. Give it some color. It was just the background needed a little something extra. And you're not going to see down at the bottom part there. That's where it's going to cover up. So I just brush that through. I'll take my little towel and clean this water out just so it doesn't sit in there. Then I'm going to here on. I went ahead and cut off a 3/4 inch strip of the edge of the card here. After I cut out, I didn't get there yet, but I cut out, I used a rectangle die and I cut that pink piece out, and then I used the smaller rectangle and cut it out of one of these pieces that's in the kit. I believe they're probably supposed to make a bag for the bread. And then I wanted to show you that this piece is left over right here. If you've got an idea that you could save for a little border around a sentiment, you could you could always layer it. This isn't a good example, but you could layer it so that it sticks out under a sentiment that you're doing on another card. So maybe don't throw that away. You can use that elsewhere. Then I ran this piece through my embossing machine with just a random texturized folder. So whatever you have handy, go ahead and run it through just to give some texture to this bottom piece for another, you know, I'll say pleasing to the eye look, feel. And then we'll cut that off. Whoops, I didn't get that on there straight. I don't have the best lighting today. It's raining like crazy out. I'm in the same spot because I was still set up, but it's not giving me the best lighting. And then I took the envelope and opened it up, and I cut a 5/8 inch strip of the envelope out. We will glue that down to the inside. I'm going to butt that right up against the blue. I got some. We'll butt that right up there. Make sure you hang over the pieces, that because you'll cut them off, so just make sure that, like me, if you did not trim off the green part of the envelope, that it's at least hanging off the edges so that you can come back and trim it. So then we trim those two pieces off, and I'm going to go ahead and glue this onto my card front. So I glued that layer to the front of the card. Now we have our tablecloth, I'm going to call it, our picnic blanket. We're going to glue that down. And I just kind of put that at an angle to fill up more space on the front. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down there. And then this piece, because you will see the adhesive through the vellum, I'm just going to set it on there for now, lightly, like right there. And then I've got my strawberry and blueberry piece, and I'm going to pop that up on the front. So I'm going to get a couple dimensionals on it. And then I'm going to stick that on there. First, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to put my dimensionals underneath those berries. I'll use one of these Gigundus. And then that will keep that in place, and you won't see the adhesive underneath it. And then I've got this little piece left from the cart that I'm going to trim up. Trim around the bucket. And I am going to leave a little bit of this blue on the bottom, as I'm going to make it look, hopefully, that it's the shadow underneath the container of goodies we got here. And just trim that up around the blueberries if you want to. And then I pop this up put the dimensionals along the bottom because the basket or container itself is going to come over the top of the berry a little bit. So I want to put that right up in there like that, and then with the dimensionals down at the bottom, it's stuck down. And then I came in with one of the like Picket marker pieces. I got the vellum piece and the cardstock piece, and then I'm just going to cut that pointy part off the bottom on both pieces. Then we've got in the stamp set there's a Thinking of You, and I will use that with my blueberry bushel again, but again, Night of Navy works just fine. Stamp that down. I'm going to adhere this onto the vellum. Try and get it on there centered. I don't think my lighting is all that good today. Hopefully the video is not going to turn out too bad. I'm seeing a lot of shadows. It's starting to rain again, so it's getting really dark. And I think my light that I have over here, the battery's probably dead. It's rechargeable, but I've had it sitting here. Oh, no, it's not. So let me see. Maybe that'll help a little bit. So now I've got my Thinking of You, and I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of that. I hear you crying. And then I'm going to layer that on the front, just kind of a little bit hanging over my blanket, and I do have it kind of at an angle just to give some look. So there's the front. Now you could put some little jewels on there if you want or something, but I think it looks just fine like that. It's got enough going on, look, with the looking just like it does. And then we're going to do the inside. I have another piece that is 5 1/4 by 4. Let me open this back up. I have another scrap from the inside of the envelope, and I'm just going to glue that onto the corner of the inside base. Sort of at an angle. I'm going to go up a little more. And then I'm going to come in and cut it off. Give it a look that it's the blanket's just at the corner. Now I lost my, oh, here they are. I've got one of the pieces of bread from the kit. We're going to glue that on flat. And then I took the giant piece of cheese, and I have an old picnic set that has dies with them, but you can cut yourself out a piece of cheese. I just die cut out a piece of the cheese from the big loaf, or block. I guess it's a block of cheese. And then I put a dimensional on it, and I'm going to pop the piece of cheese up next to the bread. You could stamp it. If you have the stamp set, you could stamp the cheese. The cheese has a stamp of its own, or you can like take your marker and give it just a little bit of a definition cross there. Like so, just an illusion that it's of the definition to it. So it's kind of like that. Give the cheese a little more definition, and then we will glue that to the inside. And you could put a sentiment if you wanted right there, or just write your little note to whoever you're sending it to while you're thinking of them. And there we go. There's our card number 3.